Okay, thank you. Welcome to the Africa Center for Environmental Transformation. We have with us here Mr. Enoch Japan. I'll give him the opportunity to introduce himself and what he does. Thank you very much, Mr. Japan.
Thank you
Please.
very much too. Right, so my name is Enoch Ejapon, like you rightfully said. I am a mechanical engineer and a sustainable development consultant. And my key role currently is to be the director of the Renewable Energy Association of Ghana, which primarily is a private sector led institution that brings together individuals, companies, educational institutions, and basically people who are interested in energy efficiency as a key aspect, and then renewable energy technologies. The whole idea is to have that private sector led initiative to be able to complement efforts that is also being done by the regulators, by the government, and then also by the original equipment manufacturers. So altogether, REACT stands as an organization that serves as a voice for the renewable energy and energy efficiency industry.
That's amazing. So, what do you think is your assessment of the Ghanaian populace and their response to renewable energy, as you put it?
Okay,
What are they receptive to it? Are they putting in measures to be able to, or everybody is just doing their own thing?
Okay, so let me first and foremost say that sometimes when you say renewable, people forget that Akosombo Dam and Bui Dam is renewable.
Exactly.
So
Hydropower is
yes,
also renewable
yes.
energy.
so
It's
so
sure.
for the people of Ghana, yes, we have actually embraced it, right? Yeah, but we still have a lot of generation come from thermal, which is in Takoradi and others.
Yeah.
But when you talk about the other technology, which I know you're asking about, solar PVs and things, even water heaters and all, there are lots of commercial industrial facilities that have appreciated it more. I always say to people that in the past, people knew solar to be more of the lantern, solar lanterns and all. And so they didn't appreciate that you can have renewable energy power or an electrical power come from such systems. But it's changed over time. People now appreciate it. And the issue around the cost of the technology or how stable it is has also been much more fairly understood because there are also different financing mechanisms and opportunities. However, the cost of acquiring these things is still very high for a lot of people. And I think this is where maybe the banks should help us a bit more in having good project financing for people to be able to uptake these technologies more. Because I often say that it's quite sad that in Ghana, where we have abundance of sun and a lot of solar irradiation we can use for solar technologies here and utilize them at home, even without batteries in some instances, we don't have much of it, right? And that's
Yeah.
where it's not very helpful because when you think of other countries where they have less sun, they actually even have big plants and all.
Yeah.
So that makes it quite difficult. But I mean, that's solar. Then there's the wind technology, which Ghana almost had, but we don't necessarily really have now because of various constraints and bottlenecks that was in the situation in the execution of those projects. But we also have biomass biogas technology, which is also good. So I always say to people that if you have an industrial plant or if you have even a residential area and you want to channel your fecal matter into a sludge or into a system where it can generate electricity or be used for gas to cook and things like that, you might want to consider those rather than dislodge it for it to just seep into the ground or to seep into the sea and other things. People can think of those technologies. The hydrogen technology is what is now also coming up more with a lot of, I would say, research and development because you can do electrolysis as a process and then be able to get electricity out of it. But that seems a bit in the future. However, depending on how we process the activities that lead to it, we may be able to instantly also have that happening. Yeah, then there's waste to energy, which seems like a very expensive approach because you have to look at the feedstock you need to be able to run all the cost of the system themselves, which sometimes might have an incentive or disincentive because we have a landfill system where we dump
Yeah.
our waste, to the landfills. So that and many others. Well, we don't have like geothermal here in Ghana, but there's solar thermal, as in where you can have solar thermal equipment on the top of your roof to be able to have hot water to utilize and not use electricity to heat the water. Then there's also other productive use of energy storage things like that that we can also consider. So it's on and on and on. So I'll just pass it on for now and say yes, people have taken the technology as far as they can, but maybe
Yeah.
there's still a lot more to be
To be
done.
done.
And I'm happy, particularly, that some corporate industries have taken it on more to sort of showcase the way for people to understand and appreciate. So we might have to spotlight some of these industries for people
Yeah.
to know and appreciate more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So there is more to be done in your.
yeah,
What is your assessment of Ghana's role? What we are doing in terms of trying to achieve the Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly clean and affordable energy.
yeah. Well, clean and affordable energy, it goes without saying that if the technology is going to be imported, then like one of my clarion calls to the GRA accepts, like all that institution, is to see how we can make the importation of these technologies much more easy for people. Because I think I understand that yes, we want to let people box everything in, and when you bring it, you have like free waiver on the duties and taxes. But it's not always the easiest to be able to bring everything together and come with one package. You might need to bring this from there, that from there. So I'm looking at a situation where perhaps the Renewable Energy Association of Ghana and maybe the Energy Commission and the Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology can think around what to do to enable some of these equipment coming at less duties as they are. Because
Yeah.
20% of batteries, I think it's just too high,
Yeah.
right? And if the rationale around that, for example, is that people would bring the batteries and use for other purposes than for solar, it's not adding up too much because when you are registering or when you're deploying a solar project, there are times you have to already take licenses from the Energy Commission to be a certified installer and all that. So if you are taking those licenses and you have exactly what the projects could look like, I think the Ministry of Energy and the Energy Commission could help you get a waiver,
Yeah.
of these things. But if that's not happening, then the cost of these are always going to be high,
Yeah.
right? So that's an example. But aside that, too, I think, like I said earlier, the financial institutions should be helping out.
Yeah.
If there are cheap loans out there, if there are financing instruments out there, blended finance, whatever it is we can do, rather than always talking about the inhibition of using depositors' funds and the
Yeah.
risk around it, I think we should do it better, right?
Yeah.
We can design certain products and certain instruments to help allow people to uptake these technologies. I think it's way better for us to look at it with a proactive mindset than to necessarily just leave it at um, the status quo and then the huge commercial interest rates that are on it. It's not helpful. So those ones, and then maybe people also doing the right kind of installation, ensuring that we don't have bad installations that deter people from having it. Because sometimes word of mouth, if I did the wrong installation for you, and you have to talk about it to another person, you may
You
not
talk about your
your story
experience,
exactly.
yeah, and
So
not
there's also a
necessarily
clarion
saying,
call,
yeah.
yes, to installers and others to be top notch in our delivery, so people appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Mr. Japan is telling those who install different um, forms of affordable and clean renewable energy, please do your job well, be professional about it, so that people are come on board to be able to go more into clean and affordable energy. And there are also ventures into waste management and recycling, which we could also look at. Thank you very much, Mr. Japan, for your time.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.